It's a big time win for us. They're obviously a really good team and an experienced team. I think coming in, that was something that we were understanding of how much experience they have on their roster and how many big games they've played in, and just really proud of so many of the performances from our team. In particular, our starting five, I thought, really answered the call, played with the right amount of competitiveness, and just made big plays throughout the game. Never allowed them to kind of get close enough to touch us there in the second half. And being able to play with a lead against a really good team is not an easy thing to do. So proud of how we finished. Went +2 in the third quarter, and then +3 in the fourth quarter to finish out the game. So great win for us, and obviously you want to take care of home court in our league and in our league race, and so it's a good thing to have the first 4 games under our belt.
Gary, I want to ask you about the 12-0 run Notre Dame had at the end of the first half, beginning of the second half, cut an 18-point lead to 6. How was your team? How were you guys able to withstand that and regain control of the game?
Yeah, I think we have so much experience against top teams, and we know when you go in a game like this, there's going to be runs. And we talk about that going into these types of games. They're good, so they're going to do stuff good too. And so you can't let it take your spirit when somebody makes good plays. It's basketball. They're going to do that. So I thought we stayed pretty steady. We talked about where we were breaking down in those moments and then tried to fix them, tried to plug the holes. We leaked a little bit defensively and weren't as sharp as we were earlier in the game, and so we fixed them.
I want to ask you about Toby. She had a career-high assist. I mean, that's a significant improvement in her game from last year and the beginning of this year. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, Fournier is one of the top players in the country, and she doesn't get a lot of publicity from that standpoint relative to a lot of the other top players, but she gets so much attention with double teams and triple teams, and she's really expanded her game this year, not only stepping out and making the three-point shot, but attacks from the perimeter, left hand, right hand. Defensively, she's switching and guarding guards, and she's rebounding at a high clip, and she's makes the right play. If she gets double teamed, she gets off of it quick and finds the right person, and we're able to get clean looks because of the attention that she draws. So she is constantly the defense knows where Toby is at all times, and you can see her maturity, you can see her poise, and she's grown in so many ways from her freshman to sophomore year, and it's great to see that evolution. That's what you hope for. I think she's got a lot more growth to capture over the course of her career here, but I'm really proud of how she's playing.
Any updates on the injured players?
No, I don't have any updates on those guys.
This was a really strong game defensively for your backcourt. What did you see out of Tina Marin and Ashlyn Jackson in guarding a really strong backcourt out of Notre Dame?
Yeah, I mean there's so many great guards in this league, and there's so many good players in our league. I wouldn't trade mine for any of them. I think mine are so tough. They're just tough, and they compete. And they win. We talk about this a lot, like as point guards and a guard. Like the number one stat for a point guard is, do you win? And there's no guards, in the last few years that have won more than Marin Jackson. When you look at regular season wins, you look at ACC tournament wins, you look at NCAA tournament wins, they're the top of the top of the top. And so they're winners. And because they're winners, they're willing to do whatever it takes. They're willing to sacrifice individual glory, individual shots to try and win. And that's more rare than you think to find these days. I'll tell you that, to find kids that will sacrifice wholly for the betterment of the team. And those two have done that ever since they stepped foot on campus. They're definitely the heart of our team, and they're true two-way players. And I thought they both performed really well on both ends today.
Kara, you just mentioned it there about Marin doing whatever it takes to win, and I think you've talked about this a couple times before, but it really feels like over the last couple games that what has taken you guys to win is her being an effective scorer. It feels like she's been more assertive in that area this year and kind of taking her own shot, finding her shot, putting points on the board for you guys. How have you kind of seen her take on that challenge?
Yeah, it's something we talked about. I talked about it with T before the season. Last year our conversation was, hey, there's a lot of mouths to feed. We had a lot of wings that wanted the ball and wanted shots. And we had forwards that wanted the ball and wanted shots. And so she had to take a step back from a scoring perspective in order to win because we needed to get the ball to those players. And she willingly did that. And that's why sometimes just looking at someone's stats and coming up with a conclusion about whether they had a down year or they took a step back from the sophomore to junior year, Marin never took a step back. She was doing what was necessary to win. And so now before senior year, we don't have as much depth on the wing. Now we need her scoring. So we had the conversation before the season, like, be aggressive. We need you to take double-digit field goal attempts a game and go get it. And she does that. And she never complains about any of it, and she does it because her goal is to win. It's just unique in this day and age to have a player like that. She's always been capable of doing this. She's capable of scoring 20 points every night. She really is. But she wants to do what's best for the team all the time. And so it is nice to see in her senior year that she gets to kind of showcase everything on full display, and she's improved a lot, and I'm really proud of her.
Riley Nelson, especially from beyond the arc, just seemed to hit clutch shot after clutch shot tonight. What do you feel about her development this season?
Riley's a critical piece for us, and you can see her coming on now. If you've watched us the whole year, really the last 2 to 3 weeks, she's starting to play with a lot more confidence, a lot more force, a lot more aggression. And you're right, her ability to knock down the three-point shot is critical for our offense. Our spacing's been so good, with this group because, we have so many players. We have 8, in our rotation right now, although I didn't play our 8th tonight. And of those 8, 7 of those 8 can make threes. And so Delaney's really the only one that doesn't shoot them, but she's very efficient in the mid-range. And so what that has allowed for us is to have much better spacing, than even the previous couple seasons for us on the offensive end because everyone's a threat and we're making shots. And so Riley provides that critical spacing for us. She's a capable offensive player. She's got great size at 6'3" as a wing, and she's continuing to grow and get better and better. And so I didn't think this was her best game of her season today, but she made critical plays for us on both ends. And I think the more exposure she gets to these types of games, you have to remember, Riley only played 15 games her freshman year before she got hurt. Then she sat out a whole year. So these reps are like double valuable for her. The other guys on the team played in big games before and had a big role in the big game. This is her first year having a big role in big games. And so every time you play in them, you get more comfortable to be in them. You get more comfortable making plays. And so I think her growth, her continued growth is going to be really important for us as we move through ACC play.